Welcome back to God's Golden Acres. I'm Kim, and we've actually had a slow week this week. I mean, not really. We've had like car repairs. You know, the type of car repairs where you have to order another part and then order another part and then order another part, but then it'll all be done. So just stuff that I don't typically film because my husband's doing it, and I'm tackling just like, you know, your basics, house stuff and entertaining the kids and sort of keeping them out of his hair because they love to be in the shop with him, but there's just some things that they can't be in there for because they're not old enough. So it's like update you guys, but like not much has changed. We did get some rain though. We got about 1.5 inches, which was pretty fantastic. It's the most rain we've had in months, and parts of the ground still look wet. I mean, not much has changed on the strawberries. We're not going to get the runners we want. That's just drought. And I'm sure others of you are dealing with this drought situation. And so I wanted to kind of hop on and give just some words of encouragement. Because especially if this was your first garden, this was my first kind of big garden by myself. You know, not with my mom or my grandma, who were calling all the shots, and I was calling all the shots. So you're running into just things that you don't think of anymore, or things that are out of your control. So you may have been really wet this year. You may have been dealing a drought like many of us in the U.S. are. We're still in it technically. Our area here in northern Missouri was considered, I believe, severe drought, and there's only extreme drought above that. And then our town, I would assume, was actually severe. Well, our area here, this little Amish community, because we got way less than like the east side of town. So it's hard to kind of keep a positive attitude when stuff like that is happening. And it's like, what can I do as a gardener to prepare for those things? And some of it, like here in our strawberry patch, we could have had more money. That way our irrigation system that we'll have set up next year would have already been in the pond before we started. Well, it's like, well, that's not necessarily reasonable, right? Like, you can earn more money, but you can't just make it appear when you need it necessarily, right? So it's like, what else could we have done? We could have watered more, but our strawberries, you can't do that. You could possibly have gotten away with it with your annuals, but you don't want their roots to be shallow. So you keep pushing on with trying to water as deeply as possible. And then once the cracks start forming, even though you're watering, they're going to invade because those cracks suck water basically down to the pond, which isn't that much fun. So then it slowly like creeps in even though you're watering your garden, right? And especially right down there where we've got the strawberries for good drainage, because we're not usually this dry. Last year when we moved in July, we got like 5.5 inches in one night, and like we had record rainfalls. And so you don't want the strawberries to be in record rainfalls in a place that's going to soak up that water and just let it sit there. This is my last brassica of the season. Should be a cauliflower. I haven't seen too much pest damage since that freeze, but you know, you still check it. Even though it got down to 22, this is really the only leaf that got damaged. So hopefully we'll get this one cauliflower to eat. And that's like, this whole area was supposed to be brassicas. Because it was so hot and dry, even though I was watering them every day after I transplanted, it was still just too hot. Which was sad, but we'll be okay. And next year, hopefully, will be better. The likelihood of being in such a severe drought, fairly low, but we'll also just be set up better. With the irrigation system being on the strawberries, I can have the hose over here. We won't have an irrigation system set up here. We would like this cabin here to do rain catchment and be able to drip tape the garden, which is, this way, basically standing at the end. Once again, we can save money for that, but we can't have it instantly for, obviously what's already gone past. And next year, we're just investing our money in different places. It takes time to build things. So it's really, just don't get discouraged. Your first garden, especially in an extreme weather or just life, right? Your mom gets sick, so you go to take care of her and something happens. That's not a garden fail. It's not. It's hard to have a true gardening fail unless you then give up on it. Because even here, so you saw that we had a freeze and we had several strawberries just die. So that's a dead strawberry. But the plants are still alive, and we've got some more blossoms coming up. So those might form a few more strawberries before we get another freeze. I'm not sure. But the kids might get some tasty tidbits. I kind of was hoping that there was one, because of course the kids get most of them. And I get one a month. Let's see if anything's hiding. Are you an attention needy? I don't see any hiding. I'm gonna, of course, probably get, I saw a red berry. And my kids would have gotten it. I won't get it anyway, so it don't matter. Another thing is, next year you might decide that you won't plant something the same way. These strawberries here, once these strawberries are out of this bed's going to go to an annual bed and not be a strawberry bed. We just wanted that separation for the kids to have a clear cut. This is the strawberries you can get strawberries off of, and the other strawberries are for jams, jelly, stuff moms do it, or to sell. Because we want them to have a space that's just theirs. Do you have a space that's just yours? We have a surprise for her. We found another dog. So we don't believe in having just one dog usually. Especially as a working dog, we believe that there should be two. And because we lost our other one, which is partially why we're having so many deer problems, we feel ready to get this one a little friend. There'll be updates on that one later. And we have not told our kids, in case, right? It's a puppy that we're buying from somebody who breeds farm dogs. It is a mixed breed, but a mix that's intentional. And it has a little bit of Kelpie in it, which she is Kelpie Airedale. This one has a little bit more. It's 4 different breeds, very intentional. Oh. Scratching her, and she was the involuntary foot waggle, and ooh, got my fingers. So yeah. So we'll wait to tell the kids, partially because of their age, and if something happens, just like with anything, stuff happens. Our first dog, Thea, her mom jumped a fence at 11 weeks old. Well, if these puppies are still nursing and a little bit younger and something like that happens and the collar gets stuck, which is what happened, and so, this dog strangled, sadly, and we got Thea early because of that. She was a little bit young to be away from her mom. We don't want that to happen, maybe a little bit younger, and then the kids then not get this puppy that we hyped them up for. So they don't know. Other than that, pigs have gotten pushed back, which actually just gives us more time to work on fence. So that's not necessarily a problem. So the farm that we buy from for feeders, they had a misbreed. So they one bred a little late. And so this current litter that's already been born, that we should have picked some up at the same time as them, is full of good quality breeders. So the breeders go first, and we're gonna just pick up all of the pigs at once, because we're gonna have to wait until December for that second litter to be born. to get some feeders out of, which is fine. Like I said, we need time to work on this fence, and we're really then wanting to get a setup where Bacon, the older one, will be able to run around them and get used to them, and they can get used to each other before we release them all together. And we'll have 3 different age groups at that point too, so just being careful on introductions, and with having time to set this up all really, really well, that should be able to happen. But we're getting an electric fence inside the barbed wire fence. That way there's just layers on layers to keep pigs in. And then his space needs moved. We kind of delayed it because trying to get this other fence done, and we were pushing trying to get these other room for these other piglets, and now we've delayed. So we'll get him another small paddock before he gets kind of a big space for winter. And we're talking about bulk grain buying right now, so there is a Amish feed store right up the road. And with getting these other pigs, we wanted to talk about bulk buying, which I need to go get him feed. Hey, don't bite me. I keep telling people how nice you are. Now you like eat my knees. You making me want to eat you. I'm not regretting you not being a breeder as much, because you've been nippy. Honestly, he wasn't really that mean. I just almost always have treats. And then he's kind of mad at me because I don't have treats, which I've said that several times on several videos in a row. I'm getting lazy on the treats, huh? No, it's because the garden's pretty well done for the year, so I'm not like throwing stuff in his pen all the time anymore, because we're almost to grain season for them. You know, late fall is kind of grain season. Although we do need to get pumpkins. We have a guy we need to give a call. And then I need to check with other areas, pumpkin patches, to try to get leftover pumpkins. I do have some radishes over here. They survived the 22 degree weather. Not very many, but some radishes. I should put some more out because these are an 18-day radish. Too cold in the next 18 days. And usually it doesn't actually take 18 days because you have to have perfect conditions. But in the next 20-something-ish days, we're not really supposed to get that cold. You know, it's really into December, January that we get cold. And I am going to set up this weekend my greenhouse, which I'm behind on. I'm late. I already had spinach and stuff in here at this time last year. But that's in our bathroom right now. So I'll get this set up this weekend. Because it's been 40 to 90s in here. So not too hot for spinach and lettuce. I have a couple lettuces. I'm supposed to bring salad to Thanksgiving. It's going to be with baby lettuce and baby spinach. That's the plan. So, because I was like, yeah, I'll get that all done. And I like sowed a bunch of lettuce. And I guess I have just a bad pack. Because I literally was like, oh, I want some lettuce for the fall. So I just went to get what was left. And this pack just happened to be bad. Most seeds last longer than that. And of course, you get lower germination rates on things that creates thousands of seeds at a time. So I'm not super upset about those. But I'm kind of upset. Because I was like, man, I like taco salad. And it's like, all we have left in our freezer right now, because we're waiting to butcher and like get a deer, is like beef. I'm like, man, it's taco salad season and all I have is ground beef in my freezer. And it's just time. It's that time of year, right? But it's funny how that stuff is like, just kind of went downhill this year. And it's not bad. think some kids got into the zip ties. These are the little ones, which Andrew doesn't use very much. So he probably did hand them to a child at one point. Honestly, there are days where I can just walk the yard and find things that the kids have drug out all the time. Thanks for getting with us today. I hope I gave you just a bit of encouragement. You know, I had a bigger fall garden last year when we first moved than I do this year, and it's just not good. My feathers ruffled all over it. I'm just preparing for next year and hopefully going to have a better year next year. The transition this year wasn't very easy, and that's not something I grew up doing either. So that was completely new having to transfer from a summer garden to a fall garden. And I failed, and I don't care. I mean, I care. I'm sad about it, but I'm not going to let it bother me. So thanks for being with us. I am praying for you guys. They just flew out. I have to pick them all up now. So I'm going to go do that. Like and subscribe. Comment how you guys are doing. And I'll be praying for you. God bless.